Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get in here for Murder Church on a Thursday night. We're still rocking Phil Spector. Come on, come all. Give it a share on the old X Machine, on the Discord, on any socials you may be presently on. Hit the like. Really helps us out. I appreciate it. Like I seen in the chat a minute ago, pre-Feral Friday vibes. Come hang. Let's go. Fuck some shit up. Let's go.
Let's rock.
Yo, it's Thursday night. It's a pre-Feral Friday hang session. We're going to be doing a little bit of Phil Spector per the usual. What's going on, everybody? I'm glad you could be in here. Got a lot of folks already hanging out here, and I really appreciate it. We're still living in the world of Karen Read, post-Karen Read trial. Everything is doing interviews, post-Karen Read stuff, whether it's defense attorneys, Turtle Boy, something in that regard, something from Camp Karen Read, and it's incredibly oversaturated, and that's plaguing YouTube currently and all social media, but people love it and are addicted to it, and I'm no one else will do the same fucking thing. Alan Jackson is an attorney in this. It's the original reason why we really picked this in the first place. Get the fuck in here. Welcome aboard. Lots of fun folks already in here. What's going on? Pokemon coming through here. I was over Karen Read a year ago. Pammy, what's up? Bluebird, what's up? Carrie, what's up? Wildside, and you're damn right, it's Feral Eve. Before we go until tomorrow night, and I don't even know what the fuck's coming tomorrow. I have no clue. I've got no guest. It's just going to be me, probably. I don't know. We're going to be seeing what's happening. So come through tomorrow and hang out. It'll probably be fun. Otherwise, one thing that I do want to correct, I was teasing Sunday to be the next Jack episode for the Ted Bundy last interview ever. That's going to be the next Sunday now, July the 6th. I forgot that I had a prior commitment with Cassie already. We've got some plans. It's already going midday that day. So I'm not going to be able to do that this Sunday, but it'll be the following Sunday for part 2 with Jack. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But otherwise, I think now that we're getting into some more territory, a new trial's coming aboard. Bryan Kohberger, the main trial that I've been focused on since day one of this channel, is coming. August 11th is the trial start date, and it was just now breaking news from Judge Hippler that it's going to go on that day, folks. So I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff on Kohberger to prep us for that. I'm going to try to get more expert guests on here, special expert guests to talk about Kohberger, and get a little bit deeper into the sphere of murder per the usual. But yeah, everyone coming in here right now, really appreciate it. Bluebird's hanging out. Ola's hanging out. Life Artist is hanging out. Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Love to see it. And like I said here tonight, we're going to be hanging out for just this video tonight's 40 minutes long. Paramedic Daniel Stark is recalled to the stand. This is someone that was in the Phil Spector trial earlier on. So we're going to be getting him, and I don't remember this guy's name, but real quick before we even move any further, the wheel that we currently have in motion, we're trying to build 12 names. We're currently at 6 names, and after the show last week, on Tuesday, Susan came through the motherfucking Cash App with $20. She said, because I'm always late, she was a little bit late, but that doesn't mean she doesn't get on the wheel. These are what's up right now. Murder Church magnets, Dandy Savage stickers, Partner in Crime stickers. There's a Murder Church sticker behind that. That's a pack that is unopened and official. And then we also have, of course, publicly buzzed coasters. That is currently what's on the wheel and up for grabs. And if we can get 6 more names, we'll do a spin tonight. We'll see what happens. But Susan, for $20 motherfucking dollars, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Shit, we ain't even fucking around. Susan coming through after the fact. Susan's a bad bitch too, man. She don't fuck around. When she comes through, she comes through hard. She comes through hard. She's the best. So hell yeah. Everyone, let's get in here. Let's jump into the trial that we've been living inside of for quite some time now. Let's see if we'll get a little Alan Jackson in here, huh? Let's try to promote this with sexy Alan Jackson. We'll see how that does. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. Let me get the sound going here. Let me get the sound going here. And one thing that I'm going to promote after this show is my new wrestling video, which is picking up steam right now. We just hit 5,000 views on that. I'm going to be asking you guys to go to that video, watch it in completion, leave a like, and leave a comment on it. I don't care if you even just leave an okay or a nice video, whatever it is. We're going to pump that thing deeper into the algorithm tonight. If you guys could help me out with that, I'd really fucking appreciate it. Let's go.
Name is Daniel James Stark.
Had a couple, Bruce.
You may proceed.
A little wired up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Susan fucking rules, dude.
I guess I should say welcome back.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Mr. Stark.
Thanks, everyone. Seriously. Love you guys.
Again, thank you for coming today. I just want to pinpoint a particular
Oh, God, it
area. I
happened.
want you to
Immediately,
focus
we got Rosen in my ear balls.
again back on. I think it was
Fucking
December
hell.
of 01, which you testified to previously. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And this is just foundation on just to set it, okay? You had been called out on a call that evening, is that correct?
That's true.
That's correct.
And your partner that you worked with that night was Bruce Liverpool, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and I think you told us you went up into the Hollywood Hills where you'd received a call to treat a lady, is that right?
That's correct.
And you previously identified her, we had her photo up on the screen
Seeking
here.
justice
as
for the
Lynn
chair
Clarkson.
up next.
That's correct.
Appreciate
And just
that.
once again, what were her injuries?
Bilateral wrist.
If you're not in the Seeking Justice Discord, you done fucked up. They're the best. They're absolutely amazing. Incredible. A Discord that is dedicated to everything that's going on in all true crime. Every trial that you could imagine is in there. The people in there that are doing amazing work, and they promote the hell out of me. They promote the hell out of a lot of amazing content creators. Get in there.
Fractures.
Okay. And
So
you
we're
have a
not putting
clear
that link in there.
recollection of this, do you not?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In regards to inebriation or being under the influence of alcohol, and I know we've asked this of you before, but would you mind telling the jury one last time, hopefully, what was your opinion as to Miss Clarkson's
Thank you,
inebriation or being under the influence of alcohol that evening?
I believe her to be under the influence of alcohol due to the odor of ethanol on her breath, as well as her slurred speech and her demeanor.
Okay. Now, as I understand it,
Teresa, welcome in.
you were junior to Mr. Liverpool that evening, is that correct?
That is correct.
But you weren't junior in terms of how long you had been employed as a firefighter, is that right?
Objection, this is leading.
I'm going to allow it. I believe it's really foundational. The amount of time has been testified to, so I'll allow it.
Thank you. That means you can answer.
I had been a firefighter for a year, but a paramedic 4 years prior to being with the LAFD.
Okay. And
Well, based on that answer, I would object to it and move to strike.
It appears to be that doesn't match up with the question that you asked.
it doesn't. I'll take another. I'll frame another question.
All right,
Let's withdraw that one.
All right.
Okay. Let me ask it this
Rose
way.
had
come at it
already
this way.
pissing everybody off. Surprise, surprise.
Who was attending to Miss Clarkson in the ambulance?
Prior to transport, I was taking care of her, and then during transport, that is firefighter paramedic Liverpool.
Okay, so the break point is once the vehicle got rolling with her in the back, correct?
That is correct.
So he was in the back with Miss Clarkson, and you were driving, is that right?
That is correct.
All right. Now, while he was in the back, was there some sort of PA system or speaker system in that particular vehicle that was hooked up with Base Hospital?
There is a base hospital radio in
Old
the back,
school
yes.
G.
Okay. What about in the front, in the cabin where you were driving?
There is a radio there, however, it's a simultaneous switch.
Yeah, I need to jump in on that one. I've been seeing you guys talk about it. I need to jump in and have another case going at the same time. And that's super fresh, so it'd be kind of easy to jump into and then catch up on all updates that are kind of coming through in the moment.
That's where, just because you turn on the back, the front doesn't automatically turn on. That only happens now with our new type of radios.
Okay, but
Trying to
back
get my
then
head
in
in the game.
01, we're talking some 6 years ago, it was a different radio system, correct?
Correct.
All right. When
Just to be completely like this is just absolute people that want to watch this right now, so I'm just going to say what's up here. So the Koberger stuff, I have a very interesting way that I could handle this right now. I could go balls to the wall and go all in on it, and then go the controversial route, and maybe even poke other creators a little bit, right? This is something that basically is what makes people want to watch. There's a little bit of drama involved. It's something that I usually actually mostly steer away from now because it affects you in your real life. To me personally, let me just say that. Maybe some people can turn it off and other people can't, but it always affects me. Anytime I've ever gotten in a real drama on X, it's always just weighs on me. I'm always checking it, and I can't get away from it. And even though they say don't check the comments, whatever. So you can go that route where you could probably get a lot of views because you're also not only covering said case, but poking the bear, so to speak. Or you could go the route of just covering it basically by yourself. You have friends that agree with you, period. Right? Like, there isn't going to be any real debate or any kind of real interest because everyone already knows what everyone thinks, The only thing that really stops me from that is my real life and the job that I have, really, because I wouldn't want to get so deep that somebody gets so pissed off that they start doing gross-ass doxing shit, right? Everyone's fucking the worst online nowadays, so I don't know. It's an interesting way to look at it and what I kind of have to take into consideration when I do stuff like that, because I do poke the bear a lot with a lot of the things I say, but at the same time, I hold back because I don't want to go as deep as some of these people. And also, it can become intoxicating, and then you get a little bit too deep. And one thing that I don't want to blow up in any sphere, period. Like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think the headache's worth it. I don't think the money's worth what comes with it. I think it's bullshit. I think that it's an early grave is what it is. I think it's stress that could lead to later bullshit, whether that's cancer, tumors, whatever. You know what I mean? I hope you guys are on the same page as me here. I don't know.
Firefighter Liverpool made the call to Base Hospital. Where was he?
He's in the back of the ambulance.
Where were you?
I was in the front of the ambulance driving.
Get in there, though. Seeking
Your
justice
concentration was on what since you were driving?
Since we were driving to the hospital, my concentration is driving and making sure that we get a safe transport for the patient.
Okay. Did you, as you were driving, the vehicle is now moving, all right? You're heading towards Cedars-Sinai. You're driving, Ms. Clarkson's in the back being attended to by Mr. Liverpool. Did you hear Mr. Liverpool state in any transmission
Welcome in here.
that Lana Clarkson had not consumed any alcohol and did not appear to be under the influence of alcohol?
No, I did not hear him say anything like that.
If you had heard that, and it was in the course of the transmission between Mr. Liverpool, who was attending to Ms. Clarkson, and Base Hospital, which we now know, of course, was Cedars, what would have you done?
Normally, when we both work as a team, one other paramedic will tell the other paramedic the things that are not seen, and you'll, in retrospect, tell the other person, hey, exactly what's going on. No, they are under the influence of alcohol, so that they can get the story straight when they make contact.
Okay, so in this instance, you did not hear Mr. Liverpool speak with Base Hospital about Ms. Clarkson being under the influence, correct?
Correct.
If you had heard him tell Base Hospital that she wasn't under the influence, would you just turn to the jury and tell them what you would have done?
I would have told my partner that yes, she was. I did smell it, and that also changes the course of the Base Hospital report that we're going to give.
Just one other area briefly. I assume that there is a volume control on that particular radio that's hooked into Base Hospital?
That is correct.
Do you have any recollection today? I know it's 6 years ago, but do you have any recollection today of where it was set?
No, I do not.
But you do know that you didn't hear it?
Correct.
Court's indulgence just for a moment, please, Your Honor.
Welcome in here. God, cooler. Rocking the purple and gold. Yeah, I think we're still on the same outfit that everyone was calling, or was it Shelley that was calling it the comic book look? Yeah, dude, he looks like a fucking comic book film. He looks like a Batman villain.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing further.
Thank you. Cross-examine.
Thank God.
Thank you.
Give us some Alan Jackson. There we go.
The standard of medical
There we go. I didn't lie tonight. Sexy Alan Jackson for you ladies.
care
And you dudes. Fuck.
dictates, according to your testimony, that
Donnie,
if
what's up?
someone is under the influence of alcohol and you notice it, you don't push morphine. correct?
According to who?
The standard of care that you employed or you were employing in 2001. If she knew she was, in other words, what you're trying to tell Mr. Rosen in answer to his question, the reason you would have spoken up, Mr. Stark, is because the standard of medical care that you were providing dictated that if she was under the influence, it changes the nature of the medical care you're providing.
Well, objection. Excuse me. Objection. The term standard of care is vague the way the question is framed.
All right, let me find out. Do you understand standard of care as it's being used in the question?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the objection's overruled.
Answer, sir?
Yes, please.
The standard of care with the patient being under the influence of alcohol does not change the standard of care. All it does is change the base hospital report so that the hospital is notified that the patient is under alcohol or under the influence of alcohol. Alcohol is not a contraindication to morphine.
You, in fact, would have spoken up and corrected Mr. Liverpool had you heard him say she was not under the influence, if, in fact, you had heard him say that.
Yes, sir.
Right.
We do it every day.
And why, I guess my question is this, and maybe I used the wrong phrase with standard of care, why would you have felt the need to correct him?
Because it's pertinent information when you're making a base hospital report, because it determines the patient's level of consciousness as well as the treatment that the patient's going to get at the ER, whether they're going to run blood toxicology reports and things like that.
In fact, I assume from that answer that it would have been relatively important to make sure that you have that information is provided if in fact you saw that Ms. Clarkson was under the influence. That's obviously why you would have spoken up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What does, you answered a question to Mr. Rosen just a second ago that there was a series of events you were attending Ms. Clarkson in the back of the ambulance, and I'm using the word ambulance, that just bear with me. It's the big truck with all the medical supplies in it that you were driving that night, all right? The rig, I guess is another way to put it. You were driving the rig once it was in transport, correct?
That's correct.
You were not driving the rig or seated in the cab of the rig at the point that you were attending Ms. Clarkson, correct?
I was seated in the back to provide primary assessment care, secondary assessment, and then Bruce followed up with the final treatment with the morphine. I did everything prior to that. That's what the driver does.
Okay, and you didn't proceed into the cab until you guys began transport, correct?
I didn't proceed into the cab. We did treatment on scene, followed up with other care in the back of the ambulance, and then once we determine that we're leaving, we know what facility we're going to, I go to the front, the attendant stays in the back and assumes care as well as does the paperwork en route to the hospital.
Okay, perfect. So what you're saying is if the patient is in the back, you're maintaining a position close to the patient, close to your partner, both on scene. Then when the patient is transported from the scene into the back of the rig, you maintain relatively close contact, doing whatever you were doing. I think you said you put in a saline lock, for instance.
Yes.
All right, and you're attending to that patient. Once she is stabilized, at that point you physically get out of the back of the rig, walk to the cab of the rig, start the motor, and start the transport.
Yes, and in the front, we are separated either by a door that's open or closed, or there'd be a window that's about 12 by 12. That's the only area that you can either speak through or hear through.
All right. And that's documented through the course of your report.
Forrest Nelson.
Hold up! Hold up! Hold up!
Hold up just a minute now. Holy shit. What?
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
That's a long time. Thank you very much. Almost a baby. Almost a buzzed baby. Boom.
When you begin transport, etc.
Nothing gay about it. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
To document those things because you need to know how long it's going to take you to get to the location, Cedars-Sinai in this case, correct?
Correct, and it all depends if we're going code 3 or code 2 as well.
Okay, but ultimately when you say begin transport, that's the time at which you actually get out of the back, get in the cab, and begin driving.
Correct, when we leave scene.
All right. By the way, let me change gears for a quick second. Why did you insert a saline lock in Ms. Clarkson?
Saline lock is an IV access.
Excuse me.
This is going way beyond the scope of
It may be related, and I can't know until I hear one or two more questions, and then I can make a determination. So temporarily...
If you need an offer of proof, I'll be glad to.
No, temporarily the objection's overruled.
Why did you why did you insert the saline lock?
Saline lock was for IV access to give Ms. Clarkson pain medication.
In fact, you inserted the saline lock because you knew that there was going to be a request for morphine.
We knew we were going to request.
All right. And you didn't say anything about Ms. Clarkson being under the influence to Mr. Liverpool at that point, did you?
There's no point.
Why?
Well, as far as me speaking about alcohol to Bruce about the morphine being pushed, that was before he even made his base report. We have standing field treatment protocols. We think ahead and we anticipate what our orders will be. I had not known that he was going to say that she was not under the influence because he pushed morphine after we had left the scene.
You're sure about that?
Yes, sir.
What time did you arrive to the scene that night?
I do not recall. I don't see it on the 902M.
Just happen to have one.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to that.
Can we?
What?
Just happened to
Oh,
happen.
it's, Mr. Rosen, I don't think it's worthy of an objection.
It's an exhibit, but I'm going to go ahead and approach because it's such a bad.
We have an exhibit number.
I think it's going to be next in order if it's
It's
going to
such
be
a
marked.
bad copy.
It's previously marked as marked.
Okay.
If I may have the floor.
I think it could be E4. E4. Okay.
Mayor,
You may.
Yes.
thanks. There you go. Take a look. That's a horrible copy, Mr. Stark. I apologize. The one that's on the board may be a little better. Oh, Jim? Oh, yeah, if you don't mind. Oh, it's multiple pages? Jim, maybe multiple pages.
I hate Rosen, so like, I don't know if I've hated anyone as much as I hate that dude. Well, I mean, I guess there is. There's got to be, but my lord, the worst.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be stuck with the Elmo judge. We can't seem to locate it. I apologize. If I could borrow that real quick.
Sure.
And I'll freeze an image up on the screen, then I'll give it back to you, Mr. Stark. Oh, look at that. It's not a great copy, but there you have it. Is there an
We're
indication
on the defense's rebuttal, so this is the first defense rebuttal.
as to the time that you arrived on scene?
We're getting close, guys. I'm putting in extra work right
Time
now
on scene here.
to get this thing done
Looks
so we
about
can get a new
23,
trial.
12
Season
hours.
5, Murder Church, coming
and that
soon.
appears in the upper left quadrant of the, if we can increase the size of that, kind of bad quality, but if you look right there, is that where you're looking?
Yes.
Okay, 2312, where I'm indicating with my laser pointer. Relatively important to maintain some level of accuracy with regard to what time you get to someplace, what time you leave someplace, and the conduct in between, correct?
Correct.
And that's because you're actually, in a lot of cases, pushing medication. I mean, people's lives are hanging in the balance. You got to be relatively accurate with your timing, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
You arrived on scene at 23:12, and in lay terms, that's what, 11:12?
Shelley, I can
11, 12
totally see
p.m.
that.
Okay. Is there an indication as to what time
Jen,
you got out of
yes.
the back of the cab,
Dude.
I'm sorry, got out of the back of the rig and got into the cab to begin transport?
We're getting there.
Begin transport says 2344.
So that would be 11:44 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Did you
So I've
review
been saying
the...
we're stuck in purgatory, so we're stuck in purgatory. I can see the light. I can see the light. I'm going to get us to the light. So we're about to be reincarnated into season 5. We'll be a baby.
The base hospital
Brand new
form in this
baby
case?
season.
No, I did not.
Okay. When there is a call for medication, the base hospital form on the, well, the base hospital has an attendant on the other side of the phone or the other side of the radio receiving information from you or your partner, correct?
Yes, they have an MICN or a physician.
Okay. And that physician is taking down information that comes from you or your partner, correct?
Correct.
It's just as important
You're
for
not
that
wrong.
individual to be relatively accurate with his or her
People that have
times,
hung
correct?
with me all the way through.
Correct.
I got
To make sure that if there's a request for medication or request for drugs of any kind, that's noted very accurately, correct?
lost interest. I've been,
As a matter of fact,
I've been
there's a
enthralled, I've been
recording,
thrilled. I've had every
that's
emotion.
made of
This trial
these
is
calls back
insane.
and forth. Is that right?
There's so much
That's correct.
going on.
Did anybody from the defense team play you the
of
recording
downtime
in this particular
bullshit.
case
Oh
of
my
Mr.
God.
Liverpool calling
Tons
the
of
base
hot,
hospital
fiery,
for
spicy
his
stuff.
call for
so
morphine?
I don't know.
No, I was just subpoenaed this morning.
It's just
Okay.
so wrong is the problem.
So you haven't had a
what's
chance
up?
to listen to that?
No, sir.
Get in here.
Do you know what time Mr. Liverpool, well, let me come back to this. You indicated to Mr. Rosen on direct examination that Mr. Liverpool made his call for morphine after you left the location, correct?
Not after I left the location, it was in the back. That's what I believe.
You were driving, you said.
That's what I believe, yes.
All right, which means after you left, as you left the location or after you
Or
left.
as I was in the front.
You were in the front driving the rig, so it would have been after 2344.
No, excuse me, objection. That misstates the evidence.
He just said, as I was in the front. He didn't say anything about driving.
You want to be more precise?
I don't know how I can be, I'll try. You just said that you would have been in the cab, correct?
In the front cab?
Yes.
After leaving the patient and he'll be on the radio, I'll sit in the cab till we get a destination and then we leave.
How long does it take you to get a destination, Mr. Stark?
It all depends on how long the report takes.
Mr.
hope
Stark, didn't
so.
you just say that
It's
you were
Pre-Feral
driving
Friday.
on direct examination?
Dave's
you were
in the
driving,
house.
not...
Dave walking through the door saying, "What the fuck's up?
I don't believe you.
What the fuck's up?" Ringing bells, ringing bells. What are we doing?
You gotta fight for your right.
That's what I believe.
Let me finish my question.
Okay.
You just said on direct examination you were driving
be right back.
the truck when Mr. Liverpool made the call, correct?
That's what I believe.
Uh-huh.
When was that? People's 57, Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Base hospital form, Mr. Stark. Is there an indication on that base hospital form as to what time Bruce Liverpool made his phone call? Or his radio call?
It says 2335.
2335, how many minutes before 2344 is that?
9 minutes.
The fact of the matter is, Mr. Stark, according to all the documentation, you were sitting in the back of the rig, sitting right next to Bruce Liverpool, attending to Lana Clarkson when he made that call, weren't you?
That is your assumption.
Sir, I'm asking the question.
That's your assumption. That's not true.
So your testimony is that the call for morphine was made at 2335, correct?
According to the documentation, yes.
And you were driving the rig at that time, correct?
I was in the front. I believe I was driving, yes.
And you didn't hear that call for morphine
No, I did not.
because you were driving.
That's what I believe, yes.
Yet you didn't leave the location until 11:44 in the evening, correct?
Correct.
And the call was made 9 minutes before you even left the location. Isn't that right?
According to the documentation, yes.
And didn't you just tell me, Mr. Stark, on the first couple of questions, that right up until the point you get into the front of the cab, you are sitting in the back, right across from your partner, or next to your partner, attending to the patient, in this case, Lana Clarkson. Isn't that true?
We do that, yes.
So you would have been seated in the back of the rig, Mr. Stark, according to the documentation that's so carefully laid out. You would have been seated in the back of the rig, right next to your partner, at the time that he was calling for the morphine. Isn't that true?
Objection, compound and argumentative.
Overruled.
Can you repeat that again?
Isn't it true, Mr. Stark, that in fact, when the call was made for morphine, when Bruce Liverpool made that call for morphine, it was 2335. You were seated in the back of the rig.
Yo, so I can still, where I have the earbuds in, I can still hear this as they're going. This is getting a little spicy. Is this the first time I've seen a law enforcement officer not on the prosecution side? Has he been paid off by Phil Spector's side?
Right next to Lana Clarkson, right next to Bruce Liverpool.
Not that I
What's going on?
Not that I recall, and I did not push the morphine.
Oh shit, thank you, Pammy.
Now that
So let me get his name, my bad. That's a good call. Daniel Stark.
you've seen the actual documentation that indicates that you didn't leave or you didn't get in the cab for 9 full minutes after that phone call was made, do you wish to modify or change your testimony in any way?
No, I didn't.
Objection. What's the evidence? You didn't say that.
Slightly different. If you want to rephrase the question, sustain.
Now that you've seen the documentation that indicates that the call for morphine was made by Bruce Liverpool a full 9 minutes before you began transport, all right? Now that you've seen the documentation that basically proves that in your mind, do you wish to modify or change your testimony in any way?
No, I do not. I'd like to point out something to you, if I may.
I'm sure Mr. Rosen will ask you to point that out.
Okay.
That's all I have for this witness.
Redirect.
Point it out. Let's see it.
Okay, I'm basically being cross-examined here, and you're trying to state basically that the way I'm taking it is that I'm a liar, and I'm not. You're saying the base hospital report, 23:35 hours is when Bruce called the order in for morphine. However, on this document, it says morphine was pushed at 23:23. So if he did that, then that's negligence where he pushed morphine before he should have. So here's differentials in times. The only original times that can actually be made, okay, 23:35, beginning transport time, you'd have to go into the archives with my department to find.
He's a paramedic, Dave, not a doctor.
Find out exactly when the
that's
transport time
hilarious.
is documented through OCD and arson. And the documentation of the medications here, 23:23, 23:39, 23:55. So if 23:35 was the time that he requested morphine, why was it pushed to 23:23? Thank you.
Did I ask the question?
He anticipated.
Sorry. I'm sure Mr. Jackson will ask you a question of that portion.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. I'm going to take a moment and put this up on the Elmo so we can go through it with the jury a little bit slower, okay? Sue, you have it? You have it? Okay. May I, Your Honor, may I work from here with the...
Yes.
Is that okay?
As long as you don't block the view of the witness. No. Okay.
Sorry. Jen, can you please put it up? Okay. Can any of you see that? Okay. Jen, can you try and blow that up? The area that Mr. Stark was just testifying about. Okay. Is that better for all of you? Okay.
It would be lower.
All right. Why don't you direct Jen where you need to go on this? Because you're right. The form is...
Down past the comments to the treatment area, where it's over there on the right, where you see NS, MS, MS, MS. To your right?
Keep going to the right. To the right.
Right there.
Right. Up
Just
now.
a little bit up more?
Up.
Right
Seriously,
there.
right there. That whole area. There we go. Now blow that up so all the folks in the jury can see that. There we go. How's that? Good? All right, now let's go through it again. Mr. Stark,
Shelley, thanks for that share.
could you look at this particular portion of defendant's E to the fourth and please explain when the morphine was pushed?
Okay, according to this documentation on the 902M, morphine was pushed at 23:23 hours, 23:39, and 23:55.
Okay. Now, the 23:23, that's on the second horizontal line, correct?
Yes.
How do you know the morphine was pushed then?
It says MS, morphine sulfate, 4 milligrams.
And what does that mean?
That means that's what the dose was given, because we titrate morphine to pain from 2 to 10 to a max of 20.
Is that your handwriting?
No, that's Bruce, Mr. Liverpool.
Now let's take a look at the line below it, the third horizontal line where it says 23. Read it for me, would you please, Mr. Stark?
2339 MS, 4 milligrams by team number 1, which is Bruce Liverpool, IV positive effect, which means it caused some sort of it's a sedative effect.
And that's another push of the morphine, right?
Yes,
Okay. And both of those times are before 23:44 hours on that evening, correct?
yes, and it's also, well, one of them is before base contact was ever made.
How do you know that?
Because according to this documentation here that the base hospital form says contact was made at 23:35, which is 11:35 p.m. Morphine was pushed 23:23, so that's 11:23. That would be 12 minutes prior to base contact.
So that medicine was going through that tube and through that needle and into her vein before Liverpool even spoke to base hospital, right?
That's correct.
And the same thing was occurring twice more before you even fired up the engine and went down the hill with her in the back, right?
Correct.
And that's a correct interpretation of this exhibit, isn't it?
That is correct, as well as the indication here for base contact says 139, receiving facility 139. But there was no protocol used here because the protocol documentation was not used for minor trauma with pain. So base contact had to be made in order to push morphine because you need a base order utilizing that you're not using utilizing a protocol right here according to the documentation.
And that's all memorialized right there in front of our eyes, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a couple more questions. You told Mr. Jackson that under the influence doesn't change the standard of care. Remember that a moment ago?
That is correct.
Why not?
Because the standard of care for this young lady, being that she had
Happy
her
Thursday.
fractures, was that she needed pain medication, and that's the course of treatment that we went with to help her so she wasn't in severe pain on the way to the hospital. And as I stated, being under the influence of alcohol is not a contraindication of morphine. It's morphine's contraindications are those that are already under the influence of opiates, abdominal pain of unknown etiology, and there's a couple others off the top of my head I can't remember.
In all the time that you have been a paramedic and a firefighter, is this the only time where morphine has been administered to somebody who's been under the influence of alcohol?
No, we've given morphine to quite a few people, especially people that have been in car accidents, or somebody has taken a fall and broken their femur, which is the largest bone in your leg. We'll give them morphine to help them with pain. That's what the County Department of Health is pushing for, that we be more aggressive with the use of narcotics to help people with pain management in any emergency situation.
And these are people who have ethanol on board?
Yes, sir. It's not a contraindication to morphine.
And just one final area, and I think I can wrap it up in 2 or 3 questions. At no time during this response up into the Hollywood Hills where you assisted Miss Clarkson and brought her to the hospital, did you ever hear Mr. Liverpool say that Miss Clarkson denied the use of alcohol? Is that correct?
No, I did not hear him say that.
And at no time during this response when you went up to the Hollywood Hills and transported her
God is
to
unleashing
Cedar Sinai, did you
fury
ever hear
out
him
there.
say that in his opinion,
Good
she
God.
did not appear to be under the influence of alcohol? Is that correct?
No, I did not hear him say that.
Mr. Stark, thank you so much for coming today. Nothing further.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Either way, Mr. Stark, assuming the morphine was pushed at 2320, where were you?
If it was on 2320, then I'm on scene.
Where on scene?
Yeah, 2320, and the time that we're there at her house, we're probably still inside the house right there. It all depends on what documentation is written here and what my partner has done.
Of course, when you get on scene and when you leave, that's documented by, in police lingo, it's called an MDT, a mobile digital terminal. Does the fire department have something like that as well?
We have stuff like that, but not necessarily, because a lot of guys use their watches, or a lot of firefighters use their watches.
Okay. But in this case, there actually is computer-generated documentation to indicate that you were on scene at 2312 and left scene at 2344, correct?
That's not a guarantee that that's the accurate time. You have to go back in the archives.
Right. Assuming that's been done, that documentation is correct.
Only if it was done.
Okay. May I have just a moment?
Yes.
All right, but assume for purposes of my questions that, in fact, the on-scene and leaving scene times are correct, 2312 and 2344. When this 902M is filled out, it's filled out by the firefighter once he gets back to the fire station, correct? The whole thing is filled out.
No, you fill that out during your course of treatment, transport, and this has to be filled out all the way until you, when you make your release at the hospital. This should be done. There are no late entries. If you do put a late entry on this, then you have to write late entry, initial it with a time, and then put your late entry in. Because it's a legal binding document, you can't have stuff that's put in there later.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
let's
a wild
assume
weather.
that at 2320, morphine is pushed. That means the course of conduct is underway, correct?
Excuse me?
Somebody is actually,
Objection. Vague. Course of conduct is on its way.
I think I understand. Do you understand what he means by course of conduct?
You trying to say negligence, or?
No. In that case, the objection is sustained.
no, the morphine. The morphine, Mr. Stark.
Yes.
All right. And according to you, that these could be, by the way, these could be estimates. These 2320, 2323, and 2339, 2355.
Those could be estimates, yes, by his watch.
Okay.
Because if we're not in the ambulance, then people are going to use their watches.
All right, fine. So assuming that those are estimates, there's one document that isn't an estimate, and that's 2338. That's the base hospital form that shows when the actual call was made to the base hospital for morphine, correct?
That's what the base hospital form shows?
And either way, Mr. Stark, notwithstanding the estimated times that the stuff was actually pushed, either way, you were seated in the back of that rig along with Mr. Liverpool, along with Lana Clarkson, at the time that the call was made, correct?
At the time the call was made?
At the time the call was made to the base hospital.
In the indications for the morphine, we weren't even on scene 9 minutes. So whether Bruce made contact by cell phone or by radio, I don't remember that. And if I would have heard the thing about alcohol, I would have told him.
But you do know, now that you've seen the documentation, that your original testimony to Mr. Rosen, that you were driving the truck when he made the call for morphine, that is incorrect.
That's what I believed. And now that I see this, irregardless, I did not hear his radio report, and I did not tell him about the alcohol. I didn't hear him say anything about the patient not being under the influence of alcohol. I believe that I was driving, yes.
And now that you know that that's wrong, correct?
According to the documentation here, then we hadn't left yet, and he was pushing morphine.
And you were sitting right there while the call was being made at 23:38.
That is not true. I don't know if he was standing next to me with the cell phone or what, or if he was on the base hospital radio. Don't try and make me out to be a liar.
I would move to strike that.
That's stricken.
And ask the witness be admonished not to editorialize and simply answer the questions that are asked of him.
Well, Your Honor.
Excuse me. Sir, just answer the questions. Don't volunteer any.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, you may proceed.
The base hospital form indicates that it was made by radio transmission, didn't it?
I think we're getting a little bit spicy in the courtroom tonight.
Radio transmission can either be by radio or by cell phone. Base contact
Let 'em
is
fight.
base contact.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this corner, one of Los Angeles' finest, versus in this corner, some douchebag cop that's taking the money to lie to everybody. Oh, shit.
A recording of this that you never bothered to listen to, correct?
That's argumentative.
The way it was phrased, sustained.
There's a recording of this that you never actually listened to, correct?
I was never given the opportunity.
Don't you think that would have been important before you testified?
Excuse me, I'm going to inject this. Argumentative.
Overruled.
As I said, I was subpoenaed this morning.
And you didn't ask for the opportunity to maybe listen to the recording of the tape of the call that Bruce Liverpool made to the base hospital?
No, I didn't.
Objection. As soon as facts not evidence that he even knew we had it.
The bottom line, I think it's been covered as to whether he's listened to the tape, so I think that's pretty clear at this point.
Okay. Now that you've seen the documentation, your testimony has changed, that you agree that you were with Bruce Liverpool and Lana Clarkson before you were driving when that call was made, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled. You may answer the question.
Is that correct?
That I would be on scene. I believe that I was driving, but judging by the documentation that I was on scene, but I was nowhere near the radio. I did not hear him say anything that the patient was not under the influence of alcohol. Judging by this documentation, then yes, I was on scene. That doesn't necessarily mean that I heard anything that he said.
That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you, redirect.
Thank you. If the morphine push time could be approximate, so could the time that, according to this, you left the scene. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
And who wrote those times in there? Not you, right?
Correct, Bruce Liverpool.
Now, you indicated that there were two different ways to estimate time. Is that right?
That's correct.
And I think you said one of the ways that time was be estimated was by Mr. Liverpool's watch, correct?
Correct.
I mean, this is going to sound like a silly question, but I assume you didn't set his watch that day, did you?
No.
You didn't even see his watch that day, I assume, did you?
No.
So you don't know if he said it correctly or incorrectly, right?
Correct.
And it was him who was filling out the form and doing all the writing, correct?
Correct.
You also indicated that
Oh shit, Shelly coming through, gifted out a membership. Who got that son of a bitch? Redondo Beach. Oh, Redondo Beach coming through. Getting a membership, thanks to the lovely Shelly. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome in here. Let me get you on the wheel show.
the conversation with Base Hospital could either be by radio transmission or by cell phone, right?
That's correct.
You don't know in this instance whether he used the radio or he used his cell phone, correct?
Correct.
Because you didn't hear him.
Correct.
When you indicated to Mr. Jackson...
Hell yeah, 7 on the wheel. We're building
You did not
baby.
hear him say
Giveaway
that Ms.
pending.
Clarkson denied the consumption of alcohol and that he did not believe that she was under the influence. Were you lying?
Probably about to pass out.
No, I was not.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you, recross.
Your Honor, I'd like to mark his people's next in order. 195.
196, I think.
196?
Let me double check. No, it's 195, I'm sorry.
195?
Yes.
Yeah, he might take a while, Jackson. I don't know. I don't know what skills Jackson has. This guy looks fucking constipated, bro. He's out here like about to die. He's like, I gotta take a fucking shit, dude.
Your Honor, may we approach?
You may. You may.
Thank you. Tell me if you recognize what that document is. Don't read anything off of it. Just tell me, do you recognize what it is and what it purports to be?
Well, I've never seen one of these before, but according to this,
No, just, do you actually recognize the document itself?
no, I do
Hello,
not.
Cindy.
I
Glad
just
to
have
hear
one
it.
other question. Do you recognize
Right
any of
place.
the coding on that particular document?
I'll allow the question.
I recognize the incident number 1001.
How about is there a unit number, like a rig number?
Your Honor, excuse me, I'm going to object to this.
At this point, I'm not letting the document in. We're just trying to find out if he recognizes certain things without, there's one specific thing I'm not going to allow in. So the question is, do you recognize a rig number?
Trying to find it, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Rescue 27.
Okay.
All right, 27.
And was that the rig number that you were on Bruce Liverpool on December 24th, 2001?
Yes, it was.
All right. Without telling me what they are, Mr. Stark, very important, without telling me what they are, do you recognize any of the times, specifically the highlighted times? Do you recognize them? That's yes or no?
Your Honor, I'm going to-
Yes, I do recognize them.
Excuse me, I'm going to pose another objection. There was no foundation for this.
At this point, Mr. Rosen,
Yes, sir.
he's just indicating whether or not he recognizes certain times. Without any further testimony, at this point, there's an insufficient foundation for the document itself, and I don't think he's supplying that. So the bottom line is, that's as far as it's going in this limited fashion. The objection's
And I just have
overruled.
one other question in this area. and
Yes.
if we can address the foundation at a later time. Just with regard, and again, don't tell me what the times are, or the time codes or whatever. Do you recognize those times as comporting with times that appear on the 902M?
Shit. Here we go. Forrest Nelson, $10. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve, for all you do, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Forrest. Fuck yeah, man. Let me give you a little bit of love here real quick. Hold on. Got you on the... First of all, new names came through here since we started the live. Let's show what we got on the wheel this time. We got some cool stuff. Got a lot of magnets left. The new sticker pack, which is literally unopened. Dandy Savage, Partner in Crime, Murder Church in there. And then these right here. These are cool. You got some drinks? You need to set them on some stuff this summer. Coasters. Boom. They're going to be sweating. You don't want to mess up your furniture. Publicly buzzed coasters. I got plenty of those. I need to get those on the merch site. Those might do it. I don't know. Maybe. Forrest, you got that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, dude. Seriously. Like, not even messing around. 4's the G, too.
I see that. However, I
we
see
go.
2 transport times.
What are you drinking, Holly?
Well, I'm not going to say the time because you don't
All I'm
want me
asking
Everybody
you
make
is,
sure you come
do
back tomorrow for
recognize
Phil
two of those
Friday.
times?
I currently have no plan. I have no guest. So right now it's just me. Come through to see what happens. It's going to be fun. I
important
bet you
to know
that.
too, huh?
I bet you it'll be fun.
Yes, however, there's 2 different.
Is that yes or no, Mr.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to let him explain. Is there more than...
I'm afraid that he's
I'm going to...
Coasters on the line on the wheel. That's currently the only way to get a
Yes, sir.
coaster.
All right.
I need to get
Next
them on the
question,
site,
if any.
publiclybuzz.com, but I have
Thank you.
not yet.
Redirect.
People have been telling me that for a while, and I saw it come through the sticker mule, and I was like, well, fuck, let's give it a shot. They're pretty cool, man. I got one upstairs. I got one at work. I've given a few out to some friends. Pretty cool. Probably. Good indication. And I've made no plans yet at all. Like, only... I usually have a guest, right? And then usually I'll branch off from that. The movies I pick are so random. It's whatever I'm feeling that day, essentially. Unless I have something planned out, which is very rare, deeply planned out. We'll see what happens.
Just a couple questions. Your Honor, may we look at this together since I don't have it? Sure. That's the only copy I know in the court.
You don't mean you and me. You mean you and the witness, right?
Well, you're welcome to join us, but I don't think I need you for this.
Thank you, but no.
Okay.
That's a very good possibility, Jid.
Mr. Stark, you indicated there's 2 transport times on this, is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
I literally don't know. Well, son, I have no clue. I have nothing. I have no guest. I have no show. But it will be something. Mystery. Put a mystery right now. It's a mystery show. I don't know what it'll be. It's whatever I'm feeling tomorrow when I wake up tomorrow. I'm a new person. Like every day, I'm a different person. I don't know.
Here, let me...
I have no control over it.
And
Sometimes I get in the car and I'm like, where are we going? I don't know. I have no clue. Where's the car going? Where's it going to lead us?
I don't want you to tell us what the times are, but just they're different times, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you did not author this document, correct?
No, I did not.
And you don't know what it is, right?
No, I do not.
You've never seen one like this, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you've been with the fire department for how long?
Almost 7 years.
And you've been a paramedic how long?
It's going to be 12 here.
At this time, I have no further questions.
All right, subject to recall, you're excused. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Step down. We're going to take a break. Do you have witnesses after the break? Yes, we do. Yes, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, keeping in mind the admonition, we'll be in recess for 15 minutes. Thank you.
All right. Where are we going next? Let's see. This will be Sunday's show. I'm going to do a morning show. 46 minutes. Tanara Hansen, who encountered Lana Clarkson at a party, takes the stand. Again, this is the defense's rebuttal that we are currently on. Everybody that came through here tonight, thank you very much. Tonight was super fun. Had a little bit of a publicly buzzed going actually, so it was fitting. But tomorrow, yeah, we'll do a Feral Friday. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Everybody just come through and see what's up. It'll be fun. That's one thing that I can guarantee. I've thought about a couple of things, but I've not landed on anything yet. I don't know. We'll see. I like to kind of fly a little bit in the unknown zone on a Feral Friday. That is one that I want to watch though. Barbarian Queen. That also sounds right up my alley, if I want to be honest. That style of 80s movie, definitely boobs. A little boobage. Dude, yeah, Phil looks definitely rough during this trial. Even after this trial when he's in prison, I think Shelley's the one that said he looks happy as a clam. He looks happy as hell, but got the skullet rocking, not having to worry about the wigs anymore, and probably protected because, again, when he died, he was worth $50 million, which is crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. I've had a few drinks before I even started this show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Tonight's show was fun. I appreciate it. Thanks everyone that came through. We're still building on a will. We'll come through tomorrow night. We'll see what's up. 9 p.m. Eastern time right here. And dude, please do this right now. If you guys could do this for me right now, I would fucking be so happy. This would help me out tremendously. Let me show you this too. Let me show you what's going on with this video. It's early. I've had bigger videos than this, but it's also been a couple of months before I've had a decent video take off on the old Wrestle Plunge on the second channel. So let me show you this. Let's go to the analytics. Real quick. I'm making $36 over here, guys. Killing it. We're killing it. Holy shit. But let me show you this. This is cool. Hold on. So right now, let me take this guy off here. So right now, you can see. So views in the last 48 hours has been 6,228. In the last 60 minutes, 389, which is a lot per hour. If you guys go right now and check out how many likes it up to. It's up to 122 likes, all right? And I changed the thumbnail on this one. I started with a different thumbnail. Go and watch this video for me, please, guys. If you guys go check this out, leave a comment. You know what? Right now, here's what I'm going to do. If you go right now and leave a comment on the video that I just now posted in here, which will go to Wrestle. So watch the video in full, please. You watching it in its full length matters. Popping on and popping off hurts it, actually. And anybody hears that it hates me, it's probably but everybody here should love me. Like, this is still a very small thing. So go watch it in full if you can. Just put it on the background if you don't want to watch it. Like it and leave a comment, guys. In the comments that I see on there, I will put your name on this wheel. Your name will get on this wheel from just leaving a comment on the video right here. Scandals you've never heard of. Scandals that killed WWF and WCW. If you do that right now, guys, you will get on the wheel. Thank you so much, Forrest. Leave a comment, and I'll see your name that has left a comment on that. Boom, you're on the wheel automatically. Please go and do that right now. Here's the videos, get you straight to the page with lots of my content. But that specific video, this one right here that I just posted in the chat, go do that right now, and that'll help me out tremendously. Like, seriously. That many comments is going to make it even go further. So thank you all so much. Tonight's been awesome. Tomorrow night, come through, though. Tomorrow night's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun old night. I don't know what's going to happen. When I'm alone, who knows? We've had some fun ones alone, though. It usually goes pretty hard when we're alone. So, I don't know. Everyone, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much. Leave a comment on that video. Boom. Thank you so much, Motion to Scream. I really appreciate that. Seriously, guys, I appreciate the fuck out of everything you guys do for me here. We're going to keep on rolling. Boom, tomorrow night. Let's do it. We'll have a fun one tomorrow. We're getting in the summertime. Boom, it's something. You know what? See, right there, I just got an idea for the summer. Instantly. It's summertime. There's a couple of summertime films I'd like to show. Let's see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys. Let's go. Have a great night.
Nothing to see here.